Tonight from the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Boston College Eagles, number 16 in the nation, in town to take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, who are ranked number 22 from Grobe Stadium. And some of the house here this evening, the reason that this one is so big tonight, you take a look at the Atlantic Division standings presented by Dr. Pepper. Maryland has won today. They're 4-1, but Boston College and Wake Forest are in at 3-1 each. And here come the Demon Deacons.
Ryan Oliger will kick off. He was the young man who was suspended back a couple of Thursdays ago against Virginia Tech. And of course, Steve Apanafagis came in and has had just a wonderful time kicking the ball on PATs and field goals.
Moore, one of the deep men, along with Marion. Oliger with the kick. This one is returnable. High spinner taken at the 9-yard line by Marion to the right. 25-30, 35-40, one man to beat, and he will be tackled just shy of the 50-yard line. That is a 40-yard return. Did that look reminiscent of anything we've seen?
Clemson, yeah, a couple of weeks ago. He almost took it to the house against them.
So let's talk about the young quarterback. Probably the best thing you could say is he should not even be here. He was going to be a guy sitting on the sideline carrying a clipboard. Well, he is the starter and has been all year because of injury.
And they've talked about maybe this week putting a little more on his plate. Just one interception in 117 attempts, best in the ACC in turnover ratio.
So the first play from a shotgun, and they go with the run, and that goes to the wide receiver, or former wide receiver, Kenneth Moore. And he will take it for about 3. Let's take a look at the Wake Forest offense. 151 yards rushing per ball game. That is third best in the ACC. And it all starts up front with the offensive line. Steve Ballas, Lewis Frazier, Steve Justice, the center, DeGear, the right guard, and Jeff Griffin, the right tackle. And tonight they get back left tackle R.B. Jones. He'll play about half the snaps. Ballas will move over to the right side at tackle. Talk about BC's defense in just a moment. With the second play from scrimmage, again from shotgun. This pass rifled, complete, good for the first down, and that's going to be Nate Morton, the redshirt senior out of Harlingen, Texas, who threw a touchdown pass against the Clemson Tigers. Defensively for BC, 10th in the nation in rush defense. In their last 4 games, they've allowed only 28.8 yards per contest, and they are mammoth at defensive tackle. Ron Brace, 335, and number 90, B.J. Raji, 340 pounds.
And right now, Wake Forest doing things to get out on the edge. I think it's a good plan. You want to wear those big guys out before you run right at them.
Safety coming on the blitz, and the handoff goes to Moore. And Moore sneaks his way up to, or down to, around the 36-yard line. Brian Toll, the first time that we have called his name tonight, but certainly not the last. And the good news for BC fans, he's been hurt off and on with a bad shoulder. He's close to 100%.
And Frank Spaziani talks about this young man. He says, your defense tends to play up to your best player. And when Brian Toll was injured with that right shoulder, we didn't play our best. And you've seen the numbers so much better with him back in the lineup in the last 4 ball games.
Second down and long. Here comes pressure. Steps up. Grills got a man, and it is intercepted. Receiver fell down at the 20 and then will not make the 25-yard line following the hit. And on the interception, it is Ryan Glasper, I believe. Yeah, Ryan Glasper, who came up with the pick.
Well, this was a late throw by Riley Skinner. Because of the pressure in the middle of the pocket, he sidesteps it. He's looking for the post down the middle of the field, and he needed to throw it right there, Ron. Because he sidestepped and threw it, gave Glasper time to recover as a safety. He had the receiver open. The post was just a late throw.
You know what else happened? Brace, one of those gigantic tackles we were talking about. Up there. Well, the wide receiver Moore, who had come in at tailback, he gave away about 100 pounds to him, and he was unable to block him. So we'll see BC on offense for the first time tonight, and Whitworth going to be hit and knocked out of bounds on the near side of the field. And they're going to say that forward progress will be around the 22-yard line, which will be a loss of 1. So Matt Ryan, we talked about him off the top of the telecast. Boy, his comeback last year, the people from Wake Forest probably are not excited about seeing him back in there as the starter.
And since he has taken over as a starter, the most important statistic, Boston College is 10-2 since he took over for Quentin Porter last year midseason.
Wants to throw, swings this one out. 20, 25, and it's Whitworth who is going to be stopped after a gain of only a couple as the tackle is made at the 25. The BC offense, 226 yards a ball game. It's second in the ACC behind Florida State. And veteran offense, well, there are 4 seniors. Mark Palmer at fullback, Tony Gonzalez at wide receiver, James Martin at left tackle, and Josh Beekman, the right guard, number 75. Those other 7 starters are all juniors.
And now Dean Hood, the defensive coordinator for Wake Forest, has him behind the sticks. He can play coverage here, Ron. They've been able to get pressure with 4, not having to blitz.
From the shotgun, good protection, dumps it over the middle, and the hit is made immediately. Boy, Josh Gaddis came up, and it was like he had been in their playbook on that one.
And that time Dean Hood did blitz. I expected him to drop back into coverage, but he brought a safety down into the box and blitzed him, and that was why Ryan had to come off of his longer routes underneath. Nice call by Dean Hood.
Idolette is the deep man. As you take a look at number 46, Johnny Ayers, first time that anybody has punted tonight. So the interception does not cost Wake Forest. Here's the boot. Boy, they almost got it. And it's a short kick. He may have gotten a piece of it. And the ball rolls barely across midfield, and they're going to have it at almost the same spot they took the kickoff return to. Riley Swanson is the man who got a piece of it. Only a 28-yard punt. Let's take a timeout. No score. Wake on offense coming up. So we are back. Number 16 in town to take on number 22 in the nation. Jim Grobe paces on the sideline, and you look at the turnarounds this season. Kent State, Wake Forest, number 2 from 4-7 to 7-1. Quite a story. Pass out in the flat, caught it, and then the hit on Rich Belton. And I'll tell you, Riley Skinner, as a young quarterback's got to learn on a route like that.
Get it down.
You are going to get your receiver punished, and most of the times drop the football when you throw it that high.
You know, it's interesting at the ACC media weekend back in August, it was Tom O'Brien who told everyone, listen, look out for Wake Forest because of all the veterans. They just don't play a lot of their freshmen. They redshirt almost everybody. This was the most veteran team in the conference coming back. And he said, don't let that 4-7 fool you.
A little end around action here, and that's Marion. Marion tries to turn the corner and finally pushed out of bounds at around the 40-yard line, which will be good for the first down and a gain of almost 10 yards on the play. Glasper, who made the interception, came over to make the tackle. Now let's check a marker down on the field. Personal foul against Boston College. Coach Spaziani cannot be real excited about that. Not only do they give up the first down, now Jack Childress going to.
Personal foul, number 60 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ron Brace is the man who was called for that 15-yard penalty. So a run of almost 10 yards and then add 15 more. So the new line of scrimmage for Wake is going to be way down at the 25-yard line, Ed.
And what Wake Forest has, a no huddle, I guarantee you they're going to go quick here. They have a couple of different speeds. I think they'll snap it right away.
Yep, that's what they do. Moore inside the 15. It's going to be enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 Wake Forest at the 13.5-yard line.
Well, you know, Frank Spaziani said that he knew Wake Forest would have some wrinkles for them. Watch the handoff to Moore, and then Skinner gets out to block. He changes direction. This is a really neat little wrinkle by Wake Forest. Everybody's flowing to the left, and you bring Moore, who, remember, is a wide receiver, very good in space, back the other way. What a nice wrinkle by Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator.
Rich Belton, the lone setback this time, as Moore goes to wide receiver. Quick pass goes to him, turns it upfield. He'll have only short yardage. Nice job by Boston College. In fact, maybe a gain of 2 as Dewan Tribble is there to make the stop.
Wake Forest has a high percentage in the red zone. You'd like to see a few more touchdowns to trips, but you're starting to see Kenneth Moore. He was recruited as an athlete, struggled with injuries his first 2 years. This is the first year that he's been healthy, Ron, their leading receiver, but he's also very good with the ball in his hands.
That's his dad looking on. Second down, let's call it 8. They need to take it down inside the 4-yard line. Blitz coming, quick out pass, got it complete at the 10, and a nice sure tackle on Willie Idolette. Otherwise, Willie walks into the end zone, and it's Tribble who had that unenviable task of an open field stop on him.
He did a nice job, went low on Idolette. Idolette was battling an ankle injury this week, so maybe not quite full speed. But Riley Skinner, he had that interception. Probably looks like he got it. He looks very, other than that throw, he's looked very composed. He was just late on that post, and luckily for Wake Forest, that turnover didn't cost him anything.
Well, it's kind of like a slap in the face. It got his attention. Reversed, Idolette, 5, touchdown. Swank to attempt the extra point and try to put the Demon Deacons out on top 7-0. Good pass. Ball is up and through, and Wake Forest jumps on top. 8 minutes left to play, opening quarter. And our new score, the Demon Deacons 7, BC nothing. Smith along with Calendar, the 2 deep men. Very high but returnable from the 5 is Smith. 20, 25, and he'll make it almost to the 30-yard line. So good field position for BC. Calendar in the ball game at tailback. Number 32, a junior out of Roselle, New Jersey. But a play action, reverses out, throws to the tight end Thompson, and Thompson will have the first down plus about 5 more yards. And let's take a look at the defense of Wake Forest. They allow only 15 points per ball game. That's 16th in the nation. And in the secondary, 3 seniors and a sophomore. Riley Swanson, Patrick Ghee, and Josh Gaddish. All 3 are seniors. And quarterback Kevin Patterson is a sophomore, number 10. On first down, straight ahead, Calendar battles his way, but the defense is right there to be up to the task. They'll stop him after a half-yard. And how about the impact players, Ed?
Well, Tony Gonzalez is always making big plays. You get the feeling in a game like this they may need to step up late and throw one to him. Brian Toll, we already saw him make a tackle on defense. We'll see him down around the goal line as well. He's almost always in on short yardage. And Steve Apanavicius came in against Virginia Tech, a walk-on, was in the stands a year ago being the super fan with his chest painted and everything else. He has been perfect so far since he took over.
Well, the ball is thrown and just thrown away as the defenders were all over the quarterback, Matt Ryan. And good coverage downfield by Alfonso Smith. And pressure by Josh Gaddis, number 22, senior out of Durham.
And early on, it's looking like Wake Forest wants to blitz Boston College more than they have. I think what Dean Hillard is thinking is this has become a throwing offense for Boston College. When you played Boston College in years past, it was they're going to run it down your throat. Well, now he sees they've got Matt Ryan. He's not 100% on that ankle, and I think Dean Hood early on is coming after him.
Well, big down right here, 3rd down. And BC needs to take it just inside the 47-yard line. Blitz coming off the corner. Gets his pass away. Got a man down there. A lot of pushing and shoving. And the ball should have been intercepted, and it was dropped. Boy, Gaddis was right there, and it just slipped away from him.
And it's the left ankle. Let's not forget what ankle and foot is injured on Ryan, because this ball, if you throw this to the outside, it could have been a completion. A lot of hand fighting. If the ball would have gotten there, Ron, they may have called pass interference, but Ryan just not able to plan on that ankle with the blitz in his face, and he underthrew it.
Second time that they have punted tonight. Ayers waits for the snap at the 31-yard line. Idolette, the deep man again for Wake Forest. Deacons lead it 7-0. Great coverage kick, very high, not going to turn over. Now takes a BC bounce, and it'll go dead inside the 15-yard line. That is quite an effort right there. Soleil will down it. It's a 44-yard punt. 6:07 to play opening quarter. Deacons 7-0. So the Demon Deacons about to go on offense for the third time tonight. They lead 7-0. Skinner has started off 4 of 5 with 1 interception and a total of 6 yards. Little bit different field position right here to start things off. Kenneth Moore, the wide receiver, lines up at tailback again, and they hand it off to him, sweeping to the near side, and he is going to have about 4 yards. And let's go down to the sideline. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Ron, Wake Forest offensive coordinator Steve Lobotsky says you can sum up the team's mission with basically 3 letters: TCB. Take care of the football. That's pretty self-explanatory. Take care of your brother. Make sure you look at left and right, and make sure you know where someone's lining up and they understand the play. And most importantly, take care of business. Don't talk to the defense. Don't talk to the officials. Take care of your own business on your side of the ball, and you'll win the football game.
That's pretty sound advice as Moore is spun out of bounds on the near sideline. Tough tackle right there as he's going to be stopped after a short game. Austin Giles is the man who got out there first. He's a redshirt freshman out of Marshfield, Massachusetts.
And Steve Lobotsky, now in his 4th year as the offensive coordinator, was an offensive lineman at the Air Force Academy. When Jim Grobe was a defensive coach there, they sparked up a relationship, and Steve's been coaching for Coach Grobe for several years now, and he does a wonderful job preparing his teams. They just come with different looks every week. It's so hard to prepare for them.
Third down, back in the pocket, got a man complete over the middle, close to the first down is Morton. I don't think he's going to have it though. No, going to be about a yard short, and immediately that punt unit comes trotting out on the field.
Well, and for Wake Forest, they're happy to play a field position game, Ron, up 7-0. Sam Swank is the best dual punter kicker in the country. He's the only person who's a semifinalist for both the Lou Groza and the Ray Guy Award. So if they need to play field position, this is the guy they can do it with.
Only 6 punts have been returned. However, in the position he's in right now, it could be number 7, unless he can kick this thing accurately and kick it out of bounds with some distance. There's the boot, not his best, off the side of his foot. Fair catch is called for and made at the 48-yard line. So only 32 yards on the punt.
And on number 30, L.B. Whitworth.
Whitworth was the ball carrier right there and picked up a couple of yards. It's going to be a 2nd down and 8.
And John Abadi used to wear, he was number 52 in high school. When he got to Wake Forest, he switched to number 40 in honor of Pat Tillman. And then his brother, you saw the photo of his brother who was a high school football player, number 5. And so he has now switched in honor of his brother Luke to number 5.
2nd down and 8. Ryan from the shotgun. Good protection. Now it breaks down and a step up. And he'll slide down at the 45-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd down and 3. And John Abadi, the man we were just talking about, was there to make him go into a slide. John, I think, had one of the really good original answers when people asked him again this year what he was going to work hardest on, and he said, becoming taller.
Well, his hair can't get much longer. He hasn't had a haircut since last Thanksgiving.
That's his dad right there.
And it's been a family affair. They've all bonded together, and they're getting through the tragedy together.
From the shotgun on 3rd down. Got a man over the middle. Pass is caught, but hit immediately. And from where the official is going to spot the ball, Purvis will have the 1st down, plus a couple of yards. Aaron Curry was there defensively.
Well, Dean Hood has done a masterful job of keeping Matt Ryan off rhythm. But you can see what happens when Matt Ryan's allowed to sit in that pocket and throw. That time, not a blitz. He was able to find his tight end on a drag route. And when he has time and he's in rhythm, he is so accurate with the ball. He very rarely puts it in a bad place for his receiver.
Well, it's 6'5". He can see targets very readily as the running play is going to go for nothing. In fact, a loss of 1.5 yards on the play. And John Abadi, the young man we were just talking about, is the man who led the charge on the tackle.
Aaron Curry, the outside linebacker, does an excellent job out here of turning it back inside. Stays wide. And as the cutback comes, Abadi comes through the line. Abadi, not a tall guy. You've already mentioned that he'd love to work on being taller, but I'm afraid, John, as a junior in college, I don't know if you're going to grow much more, but does a good job of filling in after his outside linebacker mate turned it in.
Second down, let's call it 11. Pass over the middle, and it is caught by Purvis, and the big tight end rolled over. Now let's see what the question is. Wake Forest, it's a gain of 14 yards on the play. Let's take another look at this.
Well, the safety that was over there, Chip Vaughn, was saying the ball hit the turf. It sure looked like it to me. And Boston College
They
very quickly.
snapped it quickly. They sure did.
Boy, that was smart.
Smart thing to do, because no opportunity to relook at that one. So it's going to be a second down and about 8 as Whitworth picked up a couple on the play. And another look at Purvis. Very athletic young man, a sophomore out of Reinholds, Pennsylvania. 6'4", 254.
Well, and Tom O'Brien, very smartly, he knew that that was close, and don't give him a chance to review it, get up and snap the ball, because that did not look like a catch.
Well, the former Marine and Naval Academy graduate is plenty quick enough to understand what you do in those kind of situations. Got the pass, got it at the 10, at the 5 is Challenger, and shoved out of bounds at the 3. It'll be first and goal for the Eagles, and it's a gain of 21 yards.
Excellent, excellent route by Challenger. Dana Bible says that Challenger's not much to look at 5'9", 176 pounds, but he's sneaky. He ran up the field on Alfonso Smith, threw a great little shake. Smith one-on-one could not keep up with the speedy Challenger. What a great route.
Show first down and goal. The ball 3 yards away. And they go straight ahead with the fullback, and I mean nothing. Stoned right at the line of scrimmage. And that was Arnu, Stanley Arnu, who was there to make the tackle. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Sunrise, Florida. And coming into the ball game is Toll, the linebacker. And if you are not familiar with Boston College, one of their starting linebackers, Toll, who was a running back in high school, comes in at the running back spot, and they call it first down or second down and Toll. And we're going to get more on that in just a moment. That's the end of the opening quarter. And as we change ends of the field, 7-0 Wake Forest. But BC on the lip of the cup.
Second down, Boston College.
So we are back for Boston College as we have the first play of the second quarter. Second and goal, 2 yards away. Play action. Back to the end zone. Touchdown, and it's the tight end Lloyd. John Lloyd, transfer from Vanderbilt, scores on the play.
Well, that's what I suspected they would do. They were just at about the 2-yard line, Ron, and that's just a little too far for the linebacker come running back. And they don't have a whole lot of height. Boston College doesn't have a whole lot of height at wide receiver, so you go play action to the taller tight ends in that situation.
Extra point, kick is up, and he's good. Up and up. Easy for me to say.
Sid Vicious is his nickname. That's
either that or Steve.
Yeah,
one of the two. We talked about how tight this series has been, and tonight looks as though it's not going to be any different.
Well, and it's going to be tight all the way to the end in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. It looks like Georgia Tech, if they win 2 of their next 3 tonight against NC State, Duke, North Carolina, they're in the Coastal. Now it comes down to, on this side of the ACC, Wake Forest, Boston College, and Maryland with an amazing win today on the road at Clemson. They all 3 play each other, so it'll be a round robin to see who is most likely going to face Georgia Tech in Jacksonville.
Yeah, congratulations to Ralph Friedgen and his guys. They have been finding ways to win. 4 straight, right?
You know, we got into the debate this morning about who we thought should be the ACC Coach of the Year, and it's hard not to say Jim Grobe with all of the injuries to his starting quarterback. They've been through 2 running backs, and it's hard to say not. But boy, what Ralph Friedgen has done at Maryland,
yeah,
it's amazing. He bought into the system there.
That last drive was a thing of beauty.
Absolutely.
It was a thing of Ralph also.
Yeah. And Sam Hollenbach, their senior quarterback, played sensational down the stretch.
Short kick going to be taken at the 6-yard line by Marion. And Marion is going to be stopped short of the 20. Kenneth Moore in motion behind the quarterback. Comes back, they give the ball to him, and he's going to go off left guard for about 3 yards on the play. Ryan Glasper is the man who makes the stop along with Dunbar. And one of the first things that you notice about Moore, he is accustomed to catching the ball, and once he retains possession, he's in a more up and running position, and it's a little bit of an adjustment to run with the pad level lower.
Yeah, well, especially with those 300-pounders in the middle. I mean, he's been out in space since he got here, so, but he's done a nice job. He looks good between the tackles so far.
Here comes a blitz, and they throw a screen back into the boundary, and a nice job of reaction by BC. Play will be stopped at the 23-yard line, and it's going to be well short of the first down as Silva is there to make the defensive stop.
Well, let's take a look at the impact players for Wake Forest. We've already talked a bunch about John Abadi. He is such a heart and soul guy for this team, and a fine linebacker as well. But Sam Swank can make a big difference in a ball game. He is the best dual-purpose kicker in America, is the punter and the kicker. 4 field goals over 50 yards, 3 of those in the same game against NC State.
Well, let's see what they come up with, Ed. They got to take it to the 28-yard line. 3rd down. Blitz coming. Got the pass complete. Just underneath. Good for the first down. And Willie Idolette will step out of bounds up at the 33-yard line. Give him 9 yards, but most importantly for the Deacs, they're going to move the chains.
Well, and they needed Idolette to step up, the senior, with Kenneth Moore, who was the leading receiver, having to go in with the injury to Micah Andrews and Kevin Harris last week against North Carolina. And Idolette was battling an ankle this week. He looks fine. He ran through that arm tackle to pick up the first down.
He's had dings, as everybody does this time of year. He was injured against Ole Miss. It was not 100% a couple of weeks after that. Moore in motion. They fake it to him this time, and a throwback into the flat. It may be a good thing that he threw that one too far in front. Dr. Punch, let's go to the sideline. What do you got for us?
Guys, talking about Willie Idolette, you know, I talked to Don Steelman, the head trainer at Wake Forest, prior to the game, and he had mentioned to us that he had sprained an ankle early in the week on Monday. Now, on Tuesday of this week, he tweaked a knee. He had a mild sprain to his left knee, but he did not miss practice. This kid not only is fast, but he is incredibly tough. You would never know he had a problem with an ankle and a knee early in the week.
Yeah, that's for sure. This is such a big game for these young men, though. They seem to really be enjoying the situation. They're tied at 7. Pass over the middle, and he got it. I don't believe he could get it between 3 people, but it was absolutely there to Nate Morton. Good for 18 yards. I thought that one was intercepted, Eddie.
That's unbelievable hands by Morton. He was a quarterback in high school. Of course, we saw that great throw against Clemson. But this ball zipped right in the middle of zone coverage. You just don't throw it better. And watch the catch.
That's good for 18 yards in the play. So for the 3rd time tonight, they are across the 50-yard line against BC. Reverse, double reverse pass. Up the far sideline. Got a man open, and he overthrew Moore. Wow. Well, this running play just never got off the ground. Moore hit behind the line of scrimmage and is dropped for a 3-yard loss. Pass caught and hit immediately after a gain of only 1. Let's make it 5. That's right. They had lost yards on the play prior to that. And it was Akins on the stop of Nate Morton. And so now it's punting time for the Demon Deacons. 2nd time that they've had to kick tonight.
Boston College has settled down a little bit. You know, it's so hard to get ready for this type of offense, Ron. All of that misdirection, and Frank Spaziani says it takes the aggression out of you, but they seem to have settled in a little bit, and they're not being bothered as much.
Coach Spaziani, I think, is as good as anybody in the country, and very good at making adjustments early as the game goes on, as this ball is going to be caught at the 10-yard line with people all around Tribble, and they will take it over at around the 11. 38 yards in the kick. We're tied at 7 in Winston-Salem. So tied at 7, just over 11 minutes to play in this opening half. BC has already used 6 different receivers in the first half. Line of scrimmage to 14, and they want to throw as a flag goes down. And I think we had movement at the line of scrimmage just prior to the snap. Tom Anevsky, who plays guard from time to time, not a starter, but he rotates.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 57 of the offense, the 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, Matt Ryan is still suffering from an ankle injury that he had in the first quarter of the first game against Central Michigan. A cold night, he was over there throwing, and it's that front ankle that you have to plan on, and the ankle rotates when you plan on it, Ron. So he's over there making sure that thing does not get stiff in some of the timeout breaks.
He has to be pleased with the surface here at Wake Forest, though, because not as hard and would not be as injurious to an injury like he has had to his ankle. Callender in the backfield. They give it to him straight ahead. And Callender is going to be stopped at the 10-yard line. As he is sacked at the 1-yard line. He is a tough kid. Berry is the man who came in to make the sack. Eric Berry, a redshirt sophomore out of Suffolk, Virginia.
And right now, and Ryan's a little gimpy getting up after that hit, Ron, but right now, Dean Hood he's going all out blitzes. They're playing man coverage, and the offensive line for Boston College is not ready for this. They have not seen this.
He was inches away from getting caught for a safety.
Yeah, but Dean Hood has been very aggressive with his calls, and I think very smartly with a gimpy quarterback on that bad ankle. He doesn't want him sitting in the pocket, and this is not what Boston College would have studied on tape.
Third down, they need to take it all the way to the 24. Under pressure, ball is incomplete. A little too tall, intended for Challenger, and it'll be punting time.
Well, it'll be punt block time for Wake Forest. Whenever you get a team having to punt from inside their 5, your punter, John Ayers, is going to be lined up, and the punt will actually have about 8 yards from the ball.
And watch Jack Childress, because the referee, the deepest man behind the offensive side, he's got to be watching Ayers and his feet.
Make sure he doesn't step out.
He takes a step backwards, that's a safety.
And if I'm Wake Forest, I would put 2 or 3 guys on inside gaps. He's going to kick the ball on about the middle of that E. So your angles from the outside, you can't get to it. You have to come right up the middle if you want to block this thing.
So about 10.5 yards is all they've got. Normally it's 15. Gets the snap and a nice job. And a good kick, high coverage kick. Going to come all the way out to the 48-yard line. Idolette to the right. Now goes back to the left. 40, 35, and a flag comes down, and all that running. And I think we're going to have a push in the back, which is going to take him further back than where he caught the ball. 47 on the kick, 13 on the return.
Well, Wake Forest going with a return instead of a block. I'm always a fan, Ron, when you get a punter who's going to be kicking from about 6 yards behind his center. Just push, get a couple of big bodies in there, and see if you can't get a hand on it.
It's going to be a hold rather than a push in the back, but still the consequences the same. That's the first penalty against Wake Forest.
Holding number 29 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
So let's take a timeout. 8:54 left until halftime. Wake Forest 7 and the Eagles of Boston College 7. We'll be right back. On first down, stepping up to throw, got a man wide open at the 10, 5, touchdown, Nate Morton out of Harlingen, Texas. And I don't know how the cover got blown that badly, but whoa, he looked like the first fella out to the workout.
Yeah, Ryan Glasper and DeJuan Tribble, the corner and safety to that side, weren't sure what coverage they were in, and they're going to release. Watch the safety and the corner. They'll end up in the same spot over here, and Morton just gets right behind them. As the safety comes down, Tribble thinks he's got the safety over the top, and he does not, because the safety had come down on a route underneath. They didn't know what coverage they were in, Ron.
Extra point attempt is perfect. You could see the isolated shot of Spaz on the sideline. Coach Spaziani obviously not very pleased with that mistake in his secondary. Wake is good enough. You don't need to help him out, and that was a lot of help right there.
No, that was a mental bust. DeJuan Tribble, a junior, released Morton like the safety was going to be there in a cover 2 situation. That's what you would do, force him towards your safety. But Ryan Glasper, the senior safety, thought he was in man and had come down on an underneath route. So when Tribble let him go, Morton just snuck right through. And as any receiver will tell you, that's sometimes the hardest catch to make, when there's nobody around you and it's wide open and the ball hangs up there forever.
Well, my first thought was it maybe, just maybe, Riley had a little too much mustard on it, but he didn't. The ball came down, and the receiver, Morton, did a nice job of running underneath it. So the Demon Deacons go back on top.
You know, and Riley Skinner, they had when they had the change with Ben Mock, who broke his arm and dislocated his shoulder against Syracuse, Jim Grobe, and then they lost Micah Andrews, their starting running back. He thought it was going to be more difficult to replace Ben Mock, and he said that's not been the case. It's been more difficult to replace Micah Andrews because Riley Skinner has played so well. And they told us yesterday that maybe we're going to give him a little more. They've been expanding the package more and more each week, and you're starting to see why they trust this young man.
Okay, good.
Jeff Smith
Just keep track of
prepares to kick it off. Calendar, one of the deep men. Swing. Calendar and Jeff Smith, the two deep men, as Swank prepares to tee that thing up and kick it off. Crisp night here in Winston-Salem. High spinner, going to be returnable from the 8-yard line on the far side. Jeff Smith back to the side. 20 at the 25, and is going to be stopped right there. And let's take a look at Game Track, and what you'll see in the first half of play is all 3 touchdowns. First, a 9-yard run. This is Idolette as they pitched it back on a reverse, and he scampered in for the touch. Now this 2-yard pass right here to Loit, the tight end, number 89. But Skinner just a moment ago.
Blown coverage, and Riley Skinner, just a redshirt freshman, Ron. He was not even supposed to be second string.
Yeah.
He moved up with an injury, and he's playing very well for them.
Whitworth, the ball carrier. Very short gain in the play. He'll take it around the 28-yard line. And a red zone alert. South Carolina and Arkansas 15 with the 1st and 10. No score in that ball game.
How well has Arkansas bounced back from that loss early on to USC? Decided to go with Mitch Mustaine, the freshman quarterback, but I think it's more about the running game for Arkansas. They're awfully good with the ball going downhill.
So 2nd down and 9. From the shotgun. Steps up, now throws it over the middle, has it complete to the tight end, and that's Thompson. And Thompson got triple team as soon as he caught it. Lloyd, I beg your pardon, 89 rather than 85. All of those tight ends look as though they're interchangeable as far as size, about 255. All of them 6'4".
They came out of the same press, didn't they?
Well, it was central casting.
Yep. And here is where Matt Ryan, I think, gives you some flexibility, Ron. In years past, you knew exactly what Boston College would do in 3rd and 1. Even though they'll be bunched up, you have a receiver coming down at the bottom, Challenger, and also Gonzalez up top. I think they can take a shot here.
They're 1 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. And they keep it on the ground. They've got the 1st down plus some out to the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 as John Abadi came over to make the tackle on Whitworth. LV, a junior out of Milton, Massachusetts. 5'11", 216 pounds. And in fact, he looks as though that he might be able to, or is carrying a little bit more than 216. Strong runner, though.
And Matt Ryan, his command of the offense, Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, has so much trust in him. Some of those times they'll go ahead and throw it on 3rd and 1 because they trust him so much.
Stepping up, Ryan drills it, has it complete, and that is to Robinson. First time that we've seen him tonight. As Whitworth is going to be stopped after a gain of 1. Now this will be a 3rd down and a full 4 yards to pick up the 1st.
Such a challenging call for a defensive coordinator here. You're in that tweener distance, Ron, where with the big offensive line for BC, they could try to pound it, and with a quarterback as hot as Matt Ryan, they could throw it. So I doubt he's going to blitz here, and I would think Matt Ryan maybe try a play action pass and try to get a body and his mates up into the line of scrimmage.
See the ball just outside the 46-yard line, so 3.5 yards. Pressure, gets straight ahead and will pick up the 1st down, actually falling for the last yard. Nobody was right there as they had loaded things to the near side, and Ryan gets it. Thompson tripped him up.
You know, Ron, you talked about right at the beginning of the show how tough this young man is. Let's not forget that he's nursing an ankle injury that it's not going to go away. We saw the twisting injury that Dr. Punch showed us against Central Michigan. That's not going to get better until before the bowl game when he has a couple weeks rest. It's unbelievable. He'll still take off because he knows he has to.
Ryan, short drop, quick throw. Got that one out in the flat to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez down the near sideline. Forced out of bounds around the first down at the 39. I believe it's going to be a gain of 10. And Dr. Punch, back to you.
Guys, talked to Dana Bible on the field prior to the game. He was talking about Matt Ryan. So, you know, Matt may have an ankle that we're worried about a little bit, but his biggest weapon is from the waist up. He's got a great arm, a phenomenal release, and he is mentally so sharp. He said if he gets hit in the head and gets a concussion, we'd be worried because that's where the weapon really is. This kid understands the game and is so mentally sharp to do what we want to do. I'm not worried about the ankle. As long as he doesn't get hurt from the waist up, we're in good shape.
And I loved what Tony Gonzalez said to us. He said Matt Ryan's favorite receiver is the guy who's open.
Yeah,
he doesn't play favorites. If you're open, he'll throw it to you.
Little play action, looking the near sideline, and got this one complete to Robinson. Whoa, does he take a shot at around the 33-yard line? By the way, when Gonzalez, let's keep an eye on him over on the sideline. He went off the field, kind of favoring his left arm and shoulder. Nobody is attending to him right now, so
let's watch the outside arm as he goes down. Landed on that shoulder a little bit. Did not play against Buffalo last week to rest an undisclosed injury that may be related.
So flags all over the place, and I think it was because of the movement.
Prior to the snap, there was a false start by number 70 of the offense. 5 yards is still second down.
James Martin is the man who came out of the stance, and there were black headgears all across the line of scrimmage.
Tackle Martin. Well, it was also the tight end to that side, so I bet a lot of times, Ron, you go to the line of scrimmage as an offensive lineman and you forget the snap count, so you look over at your buddy and you say, hey, what's it on? I wonder if they miscommunicated to each other and they both thought it was on 1 when it was on 2.
14-7, Wake on top. 3:45 left until halftime. Good protection this time. Just dumps it out to Whitworth, and Whitworth breaks a tackle 35-30, and then is pushed out of bounds. That is enough for the first down, but a missed tackle, and we'll see how big that is before this drive is over.
And it wasn't much of a move by Whitworth. Stanley Arnoux is over there, but just a little shake to the inside, and Arnoux has got to keep his feet.
Whitworth goes out of the lineup. He'll get a breather. And that means that Andre Callender, number 32, checks in at tailback. They list both of these guys as starters. They say they are equal. Callender gets it. Sweep to the right. Feet knocked out from under him. Loss of 3. So it'll be a second down and 13. And that's Brian Andrews with the outstanding defensive play for the Deacs.
And I think the one thing, Ron, there's probably a lot of people watching this game who have not seen Wake Forest, if not this year, for a while. You know, Jim Grobe and his staff get a lot of credit, as they should. But they have recruited much better athletes. And when you put in the videotape and you watch these guys play, they have good athletes. This is not smoke and mirrors that they're doing here at Wake Forest.
By the way, 14 rushes, only 9 yards by BC. That pass a little too far in front, incomplete. And now that loss on first down, they're looking at a third down and about 13 yards or 14 to pick up the first down. Huge play here in the first half.
Well, and if you're Boston College and you're thinking field goal, Apanavicius, the new kicker, he's good from about 40. That's about where they feel comfortable. So you'd want 6, 7, 8 yards. So if you're not going to get beyond the sticks, at least get enough so you can try the field goal.
12th play of the drive. They need to take it to the 17-yard line. That's the line to make. Blitz coming off the corner. Throws it to the opposite side. And that one is intercepted in the end zone. And it's Josh Gaddis. And normally the very brainy Matt Ryan, that was just not a smart play. You're within field goal range there. You can't just give the points and situation away.
Well, they try to out and up with Challenger. Watch the pump fake by Ryan. And they didn't bite on it. Gaddis is in his drop the whole way. Never, ever, ever bought on the fake. And the corner Patterson never bought on it either. If you're going to throw that, just throw it out of the back of the end zone. Not a smart play.
So we'll take a timeout. Gaddis with the pick. Not a new situation for him. Wake with the ball. They lead by 7. So we are back in Winston-Salem, 14-7. Wake on top, and look at the comparison with the quarterbacks. Very, very close tonight. But the score, 7-point lead by Wake, and what a defensive play by Brian Toll. The linebacker comes across to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. From the shotgun, pass out in the flat, got this one to Moore. And then look at that defense and how quickly they come in to cover. Boy, they were white jerseys all over the place as the pass was thrown complete. Dunbar was there, Pruitt was there, Toll was in the area as well. So the play is going to go really for a -1. But the clock right now, 1:19. There's a look at Gaddis. 11 career interceptions. And look at that number, folks. 4 straight games with an INT.
And Wake Forest is such a challenging school academically. And he said our coaches are like professors. They break things down so well. And we know what's coming our way. That way, he read that absolutely perfectly, the out and up. Never came off his drop.
BC looking to bring pressure off the left, and they do, which is the bottom of your screen, and they throw a screen pass right there on the flat, and nicely figured out there by a Norm.
Well, and I think Boston College is going to use one of their timeouts here very wisely, hoping to get pretty good field position and save some clock here. Remember, the new clock rules, change of possession, it will start. And Wake Forest did a pretty good job of milking the clock there, Ron. They'd love to have picked up the first down, but I think their overall goal was to milk some more clock, so Tom O'Brien wants to save some.
So here are the standings in the ACC Atlantic and the schedules that are left. Boston College, Wake Forest, and also Maryland.
And it's hard to argue which one's the most difficult. They all play each other. You throw Miami in the mix there against Maryland and Wake Forest. Miami's still dangerous. I don't care what's going on down there. They're still a very dangerous team. But I think maybe Boston College has the hardest road. At Florida State, who put a whipping on Virginia today, Virginia Tech, and then at Maryland, and the great job that Ralph Regent has done. So even with a win tonight, they're not out of the woods. They'll be in command, but they wouldn't be out of the woods.
You know, not only did Florida State win, but Mickey Andrews' defense, who did not play exceptionally well the week before against Maryland. When your offense has close to 500 yards, that's enough to win a ball game. And I have a feeling that it was a tough week as far as the defenders down in Tallahassee.
Yeah, he got after him. And Tom O'Brien always does such a nice job of getting his team ready to go on the road. And
yep.
I think it comes from his military background.
I do too.
You have a plan. Everybody knows what to expect. The itinerary is set weeks in advance, and you can just focus on the trip. You don't have to worry about all the extraneous stuff. You just go focus on playing ball.
You know, the other thing that he says is he tries to teach his kids, let's worry about us. Let's don't worry about the opposition. If we worry about us and don't make mistakes and lose the ball game, we've got a really good chance to come out on top.
Well, they made that mistake in the secondary, Ron. Those are the exact same things they try to avoid.
That's right. Low pass. Feels it nicely. Line drive kick. And it's going to take a Wake bounce. I mean, a huge one now. Inside the 35-yard line. All the way down to the 33.
Watch that clock.
Pass out in the flat. The ball was dropped. Now the question is, did Callender catch it and then drop it?
Well, that's the way they're marking it, Ron. And they're going to run out of time here. At Ryan. Boy, that took a lot of time because I think he thought it was incomplete and that they would stop the clock.
And what you always look for is for the official to throw the beanbag if, in fact, the ball is turned over. So only 5 ticks left on the clock. And I guess it's time for Hail Mary.
Hail Ryan. He's got plenty of arm. His left foot, you know.
Well, this is a play that the most famous play in the history of this school, isn't it?
Too bad Doug Flutie is in the studio for ABC now. I'm sure he's watching intently. Yeah, why not give it the old heave-ho? Even if you throw the interception, who cares? The half is over. But typically, you'd like to roll out your quarterback because it gives you a little more time and he can wind up and really heave it. And with a gimpy quarterback, You'd think they'd roll him to the right to the field. If I'm Dean Hood, I might bring some pressure off of that side and see if I couldn't force Ryan to throw it before he wanted to. Well, and save for the one mistake, I think Boston College's defense has figured some things out. But those, we were talking about the things that Boston College is, don't beat yourself.
Yes.
And they caught themselves in 2 different coverages. Well, and Morton made them pay.
For people who watched us off the top of the telecast tonight, in the locker room, you heard Jim Grobe say, bring your brain tonight. You know,
yep.
Play smart. And it has to be 4 quarters. And what he's alluding to there, the last time we were here, they were about to go up 20-3 over Clemson, had a foul up on a field goal return. Clemson scored and they blew it open, and Wake lost the football game. With 5 seconds left, they throw it out in the flat next to the tight end Purvis, and Purvis is going to be knocked out of bounds at the 47. And we are at halftime. And they are standing and applauding here in Winston-Salem, and why not? They're trying to go, Wake Forest is, they're trying to go 8-1 for the first time since 1944. Let's go down to the sideline and Dr. Punch. Jerry?
Coach, what concerns do you have about the play of your offense in the first half?
Well, we got to do a little better job running the ball, help us throwing the ball. I think, you know, we took a shot there at the end, made the interception, but we got to run the ball better.
Defensively, the short passing game seems to hurt you a little bit. How do you adjust at halftime?
Well, the short, I don't know if that's hurting us. You know, what hurt us is a blown coverage, giving up a touchdown. You know, we can't do that. We keep the ball in front of us, we'll be all right in that passing.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Ron?
Thanks, Jerry. Tom O'Brien, 14-7. His ball club trails at halftime. Down at the 6-yard line, this is Smith. And Jeff right up the middle, 25 out to the 30. They're going to have good field position to open the second half. Let's go down to the sideline. Dr. Punch, I understand you visited with Coach Grobe after his halftime.
I did, Ron, and Jim Grobe very happy with the play of his defense in the first half. Said he couldn't be more pleased with how he played defensively. Offensively, said he wasn't very happy with the pick they threw early in the first half, so we got to do a better job of handling their zone blitz, and I would like to run the football better in the second half than we did in the first half. He said, but defensively, we played pretty well.
Okay, Jerry, thanks. Both of these coaches really very much on the same page as far as what they're looking for. A little influenced by pulling the guards, but they throw it back to the tight end Purvis, and Purvis is going to have the first down on the very first snap of the second half. Good for 11 yards.
Well, right, excuse me, Ron, but right now, Matt Ryan, even with that bad angle, he's not 100%, but he's moving fairly well considering that he's still gimpy on that left ankle.
Well, as you could see from the snap of the ball, the 2 guards pulled, trying to influence the linebackers and secondary. This time it's play action again, and they throw this one complete. That's Gonzalez. And Gonzalez will be tackled at the 49. And for those that don't know this young man, one of the really tough competitors in the ACC, grew up with 7 sisters. And I asked him, I said, did it ever get to be a situation where you wanted just one brother in there? And he said, I wouldn't change anything. He said it was so wonderful growing up and having those 7 ladies around me.
Are you kidding me? They looked out for him. I bet they fought some of his fights for him, too.
He's now got 13 nieces and nephews. As the running play with Whitworth will go outside to the right, and they pick up the first down is John Abadi, who's there to make the tackle. I'm going to say steps out at the 43-yard line. Red zone alert. Oklahoma on A&M's 2-yard line. The Sooners up by 4 in that one.
You know, we just showed the Atlantic Division standings. Of course, Maryland with a great win today on the road against Clemson. And both of these schools, none of the players are talking about, hey, what bowl are we going to? They are so focused on, no, we're in the race, and that's what matters right now.
That quick out pass is caught, and then pretty good stick by Soleil on Soleil after he moves it upfield for a gain of close to 9 yards. And defensively, I believe Jeremy Thompson and John Abadi were the 2 guys that got out there and laid the lumber to him. But the thing with Boston College, they are playing way in front of the sticks on this opening drive of the second half.
In the first half at all, no. Ron. It was all 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 6s.
Play action again by Ryan. Right over the middle. Got this one to number 2, Robinson. And Brandon is going to have the first down inside the 30-yard line. So they're making this one look kind of easy right here, like a surgeon.
And there seems to be a little more urgency to how they're getting to the line of scrimmage. They're starting to get into a rhythm. They never felt like they got into a rhythm offensively. You know, a lot of times when your offense is a little sluggish, just get the play in and out a little faster. Right now, taking a little bit of time choosing what to do on 1st and 10, but just get it in and out. Let's get to the line of scrimmage because the defense will start to get winded faster than we will.
1st and 10. They have spotted the ball at the 27.5-yard line. Blitz coming up the middle, picked up nicely. And the pass, did he hold on? If he did, that's a nice catch. Challenger, yep, and he did. And let's check down on the sideline. Dr. Punch, it looks like a blitzkrieg here.
Exactly, Ron. And in the first half, they were not at all happy with the play of the BC offensive line. And the movement had been hurting them up front. And NC State hurt them with movement up front. Florida State hurt them with movement up front. They are big and strong, but they weren't able to hold up against some of that quickness up front for Wake Forest. So the different story here at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. The offensive front for Boston College got a little discussion at halftime in the locker room, I'm told.
Oh, I bet it was more than a discussion.
By the way, incomplete on that last pass. So it's a 2nd down and 10. As the officials came up and said, nope, he didn't hold on to it. Rolls the pocket, just throws this one out of bounds. And that time again, the pressure from John Abadi.
Well, Abadi never gives up. And he never gave up last week against North Carolina. At the end of the game, and of course North Carolina was playing for John Bunting. Coach Bunting had been fired during the week, and the coaches here knew that at Wake Forest knew that they were going to get the best shot, and North Carolina drove down, had a 1st and goal, blew a couple of plays on the last play of the game. Abadi did a great job reading the eyes of the quarterback and making the interception. 3rd down, they need to take it to the 18-yard line or just inside. BC has converted 3 of their last 4 3rd down situations. They roll the pocket back over the middle, and boy, it's dropped. And that one to L.V. Whitworth, the running back, and he tried to take off before he had the football. Well, and George Burton, the umpire, standing in his spot. And Whitworth not able to get around him to make that catch. I don't think he would have gotten the 1st down, but now you're in, this is tweener territory, and it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th because they don't feel like their kicker has this type of range. Remember, Aponavicius took over as a walk-on, and I like this decision by Tom O'Brien.
So let's see, they're down 14-7. Line of scrimmage, the 27.5-yard line, and they need 10 yards. Ryan over the middle, got it complete, and spinning down, and he didn't get it. Challenger got spun to the ground, and you can see where the yellow line is and where the official has come in and placed his foot down, and they're going to be a half to a yard short. In fact, Jack says no go. 1st and 10, Wake Forest.
Great tackle, but again, I think it's the right call by Tom O'Brien to allow Dana Bible to dial something up and do this, because you actually end up with pretty good field possession defensively now.
So we'll take a timeout. 14-7 Deacs. Just over 12 minutes to play. 1st and 10, Wake Forest, after holding on that 4th down play. They fake the double reverse, and up the near sideline, that's Marion, and Marion is loose. 40, 30, can they catch him? Not this time, and it's a distance jaunt of 81 yards. Touchdown, Wake Forest. Swank with the extra point attempt. Ball is down and the kick is up and through, and I mean like lightning. Now, how much of an influence when they fake the double reverse? We'll talk about that when we come back.
On one way, coming back the other.
21-7. Demon Deacons on top. As we come back, blowing glass and a little bit of everything going on here at the stadium. We can tell you that that is the 5th longest touchdown run in Wake Forest history and the 2nd longest TD run in Grobe Stadium. Today, let's see, the longest run by Wake Forest since 1968. 81 yards on that one.
Marion, of course, had the opening kickoff return out to midfield. He had that great kickoff return to start the Clemson game. He's the fastest player on Wake Forest team, so they're finding ways to get him involved.
Calendar, 25, 30, 35, and out across the 40-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at the high cam, the all-22. Watch Moore. He's going to get all the way down the field, and he springs the last block for Marion. As he goes down, he gets up. He saw it's right there. Watch the cut block at the bottom. And Marion is able to bounce it to the outside, Ron. If he couldn't have bounced that to the outside, it would have been tackled right there at midfield. But what an excellent job. Remember, Moore, wide receiver, leading wide receiver, had to move to running back, was lined up in the backfield. That's a long way to run. Great hustle.
So from the 40-yard line of the 41, pass thrown, almost intercepted. Stepping in front was Riley Swanson. Second down and 10 for Boston College. Blitz coming right up the middle. Pass thrown, and boy, what a hit. Nice job defensively on Challenger. As soon as he caught him, the defender was right there to make the tackle, and it's Chip Vaughn, a redshirt sophomore out of Fairfax, Virginia.
Vaughn went to Robinson High School in Fairfax, coached by Mark Bendorf, who has built one of the greatest programs in the state of Virginia in a long time. And they're sending a lot of guys to college at this level.
So it's third down. Line to make is the 49 of Wake Forest. Blitz coming off the bottom of your screen. Gonzalez on the catch, and he'll be tackled at the 46-yard line, well short of the first down. And right now, Olmo is wearing black and gold. Jeremy Thompson there to make the hit.
And the Mo you're talking about is not the bar owner from The Simpsons. It's the momentum in this stadium because they play so well as a team. Jim Grobe said, bring your brain along, but they also play as a team. They don't care who makes the play. Someone just make it.
What else did he say? 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
Not
Absolutely.
3. 4 quarters. We got a long way to go in this one. Tennessee had to find that out the tough way today against LSU, who came back in the 4th quarter to win in Knoxville.
It looked like the right guard flinched when somebody from Wake Forest jumped in the neutral zone.
We have a dead ball foul. It was a false start. Number 94 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
It's Mark Herzlich, a true freshman. Tom O'Brien doing such a nice job recruiting a lot of these young freshmen, finding their way on the field because they're some of the best guys at their position.
And, you know, in fact, not bragging, just stating fact. Tom said, you know, the reason so many of these freshmen are playing because they are better than some kids we recruited 1 and 2 years ago.
Yeah, at Florida State we saw last week it's because of attrition and injury. At Boston College it's because they're doing such a nice job.
Here's the kick. Not a particularly long one. Caught at the 25. Idolette looks for space, and he will have none. Tackled at the 29-yard line. So 34 on the kick, 5 on the return. The Deacs with a 21-7 margin. Now some very brave souls sitting on the end zone grass, which is the south end zone, and it's nippy here tonight in the upper 20s. Supposedly by this time, not a great deal of wind, but still it's kind of cold. But they're enjoying watching the local folks win this football game so far. Let's take a look at the game track, and this is how everything has gone. 21-7. Here's Idolette. This is the first touchdown of the night by Wake Forest. And then coming right back, Ryan throws to Lloyd, the tight end. And here's a blown coverage right here as they are back at the line of scrimmage and playing, and we'll check out that last play or so in a moment. Moore reverses his field after there was nothing to the left and came back, and he's going to have the first down. 11 yards on the play.
Well, this is the same play we saw earlier in the game. Watch the quarterback. They asked their quarterback to do a lot in this offense. How about be a lead blocker? He becomes the fullback here, and Yeah, he didn't exactly blow up a non, but he pushed him out of the way and opened up the hole. Nice job by Riley.
That's all they needed.
Oh, yeah.
That's Moore. Tries the left side. And he knew it was going to be this way. From tackle to tackle, it would be difficult. He's not a real big human being at 6 feet 195. And red zone alert. Aggies on the Oklahoma one. It was told who made the tackle. But the thing is, it's so impressive about him tonight. I'm with the coaches. I can see there's not a question in his mind exactly what to do. Right. He's not worried about blowing an assignment.
It was interesting because it was Tim Billings, the wide receiver coach, who actually made the suggestion. He felt that Moore could handle it, and even though he'd be losing the leading receiver, a very selfless move by Coach Billings to say this guy can play the position. He was right.
BC, I think, might have been offsides of the play. Idolette gets the ball. He'll turn the corner and wisely runs out of bounds. And that flag came late, but I believe it's for the movement in the jumping offside by BC. I think it was that Akins?
Akins will often line up on the outside. He's only 212 pounds, but they need that speed off the edge. Well, and you talked about the momentum so clearly on the side of Wake Forest. Now Boston College cannot start making these mistakes. I mean, that was a no yardage play, but now replay the down for 5 yards.
Left in, 5 yards, still second down.
Yeah, it was Akins who was lined up. He's the outside linebacker to that side and just got a little jumpy, but you just can't make those mistakes, Ron.
Well, this is Tom's teams normally don't do that. You could see there on the graphic a moment ago 5 penalties against them. As the running play, wow, they're just bulldozing right now. That's close to a first down as Renfret.
Yeah, and Renfret's a young man, a freshman that the coaches are very hopeful for. He's 6'3", 260-pound fullback, and they really like his athleticism. And they told us, listen, we're going to get this guy involved in the game plan. We like him so much.
Timeout for measurement.
7:51 left to play, third quarter. And it was a long distance job, 81 yards on a reverse by Marion. And that's how the Demon Deacons went on top by 14, and they just picked up the first down on the run by the freshman fullback.
Only his 5th carry of the year, but they're going to start getting him more involved. And if you remember when Jim Grobe first got here, the fullback was a key to this offense because they do all this crazy stuff behind it, and then they get a big fullback just pounding right at you. So you think it's one thing, but really all it is a fullback dive and they catch on your heels.
Kenneth Moore gets the handoff back into the boundary. Unable to turn the corner, though. Nice job by the BC defense to knock him down. Brian Toll grabbed him first. Lunda Cone, let's check back at the studio with you.
Tackle made by number 9, Larry Annan, and number 40, Joan Dunbar. 2nd and 10 for Wake Forest.
So for Georgia Tech, as we talked about in the first half, they just got to take care of business. Win 2 of their last 3, and they are in the championship game down in Jacksonville. That pass into the flat, did he hold on? I think so. That was Nate Morton.
Boy, Morton's a special player, isn't he, Ron? Yeah, they can do. He just everything you throw, he catches.
Well, the pass.
you see there, he's saying, "Bring that one up a little bit, Riley." The old quarterback from high school.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to run with it.
He threw, as we showed you back in the first half, that pass they threw against Clemson, as Ed said, he's a former quarterback, and he threw it perfectly. Couldn't have been thrown better. Quick pass, gets this one out there, and I believe enough for the first down. Yes, it will be at the 29.5. And right now, Morton and the quarterback Skinner just playing a little pitch and catch.
Well, and watch what Morton does. Watch his hands. See how he catches that ball in front of his body, Ron, and the ball could not have been put on a better place by Skinner. Outside shoulder, your receiver knows, spin to the outside, pick up the first down, but it's the soft hands that make the play.
That's a career high for him. That's his 7th grab. This time we had movement, and I think that one is going to be on the offense. Valles may have come out of his stance.
Snap. False start. Number 70 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Dick here, I beg your pardon. Sorry about that, Steve Valles. was not you. As you look at Nate, 7 receptions, 94 yards, 1 touchdown.
And being an ex-quarterback and such a good receiver in this program as a senior, he's been instrumental in the development of Riley Skinner. And it was nice to see him on that throw. It was a low throw. Bring it up. Give me a chance to run with it after the catch.
That's only the 2nd penalty against Wake Forest tonight. 8th play of the drive. Hands it off to Moore, breaks it into the secondary, breaks 1 tackle, almost got by a 2nd, and will be stopped at the 23 by Austin Giles, but not before he gains 11.
Well, one of the things that they were worried about with Moore was running between the tackles. They were fine once he got outside, but they didn't do a lot of live drills this week. They let him get hit a little bit, but not taken to the ground, and they just weren't sure how he was going to do in between the tackles. Every time, Ron, he looks like he's back in high school when he was a tailback.
Starting to say it's like riding a bicycle now.
Oh, boy, he just looks, he's got good vision. He's not wasting his time. He's getting downhill. He looks like a natural.
Blitz from Akins coming off the left side. Nothing more, hit behind the line by Toll, and that will be a loss of about 7 yards in the play. It's going to put it back at the 30, and they'll be scrimmaging with a 3rd down and 11.
Well, Toll just reads this and runs right through in the left guard. That's R.B. Jones in there playing at the left guard position, who was out for a few weeks with an MCL, just doesn't come off in time, but nice read on the play. Now you've got the best kicker, one of the best kickers in the country at distance, so I think you can really throw this one down the field.
We move it. Wake Forest is a team that gets up applauding, but did they move as well? You can see Steve Justice, the center, signaling that BC moved.
Prior to the snap, offside by contact, number 90, defense, 5-yard penalty, but still 3rd down.
B.J. Raji, and stop and think about something. We haven't mentioned his name tonight. They have neutralized him.
Yeah, well, Wake Forest has one of the best centers, not just in this conference, but in the country. And boy, I tell you, that left guard, Lewis Frazier's lucky that contact was made, or else they would have called him. But Justice has done a wonderful job tonight slowing down those big bodies.
They need to take this football just inside the 20-yard line if they want the 1st down. Aiken coming off the blitz again. Quick pass. Ooh, that one very close to being intercepted, as Anam was the man making the move on the ball, and it was Nate Morton they intended the pass for.
Well, last time we were here, Ron, we saw John Temple, the holder. He muffed a snap and he tried to get up, and Gaines Adams knocked it out of his hands. And a lot of the coaches wanted a change of holders, and Jim Grobe said, nope, I'm not going to make that this last play of this young man's career, and he's done a fine job since, and he's got a great kicker to hold for.
43 yards will be the attempt on the far hash mark. Ball is down, got plenty of distance, and no good. Wide right, no good. Got a screen pass to Whitworth. Gets by a tackle, 35, 40. And finally going to be stopped just shy of the 50-yard line. So Dana Bible dials up a big play for BC, 23 yards.
And they needed something, Ron, because the momentum had spilled over from that 1st half into the 2nd half. Boston College had a good drive to start the 3rd quarter, but hasn't done much since. They needed something to get going.
That's the longest play by Boston College tonight. Sets in the pocket. Here comes pressure, and he's got to be sacked. And I'm telling you, it was Tucker who just treated him like a rag doll. They just grabbed him with the shoulder pads and threw him down.
Well, and it was such a nice move by Giles Tucker. Vote of his teammates right here. Watch the spin move back inside, working one-on-one with James Martin. He just set him up. Martin leaned on him a little bit, and Tucker, voted by his teammates as the best all-around athlete on the team, showed great footwork there. You feel an offensive lineman leaning on you, spin back inside, he's going to fall right down.
Dover, New Jersey, his home. 2nd down and a long way. Pass out in the flat. That is to the tight end Purvis, and Purvis is finally going to be tackled up around the 41-yard line. They got to take it all the way to the 41 of Wake Forest. Out in the flat, got it complete, broke a tackle, and I think he picked up the 1st down. That is Soleil. Taylor Soleil, and with the second effort, watch what happens.
Well, they brought a corner blitz, so the safety comes over the top. That's Patrick Ghee, and Ghee just didn't finish it. He did not finish the play, and Soleil did. You hear coaches all the time say the most important part of a play is the finish. Soleil finished it, and Ghee did not.
Put an asterisk by that one should they score on this drive. This is Whitworth back into the boundary, and he'll take it for 1.5 yards. Alfonso Smith makes the tackle on him. Those are the little things that creep in that coach on the near sideline is going to say, hey, fellas, remember 4
quarters. Exactly, yeah, and that's what we asked him about the Clemson game. What did your team learn? He said 3 perfect quarters doesn't win a game, because they did play nearly perfectly for 3 quarters against Clemson.
Second down and long. They roll the pocket. Still good protection. Drills the ball, and it is caught at the 32-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and short. They'll need just a couple.
And now Boston College going almost exclusively to the pass, Ron. A couple of screens. And I know that Tom O'Brien told Dr. Punch he wanted to run it, but right now 5 total yards rushing. I think they may have just thrown that part of their playbook away.
Rich Gunnell is a young man that he's learning, basketball player in high school.
3rd down.
They were just saying that the ruling was that it was caught.
Yeah.
Because that was a fastball in there. It's hard to see sometimes.
Yeah, it was.
The ball thrown that hard, if it skips or not.
3rd down, and they need to take it just inside the 30.
The previous play is under review.
Well, they'll see if it did skip in. And Ron, I think you're in that tweener place again. Take a look and see if that ball. Soleil does a nice job coming back to the ball. And it looks like he got his arm underneath of it. It squirted around a little bit in there. This should show us a little bit better. Yeah, I think he caught it. It looked like he got his hand and his knee underneath of it. Oh, wait a minute now. That backside, that ball looked like it may have come down on the turf, Ron. From the front, it looked like it got under it. That one, I'm not so sure.
Even with replay, that's a difficult call to make right there.
Yeah, you know, we saw today Maryland Clemson, they overturned a safety, and I didn't think they should have overturned it. This one from the backside. Let's see, does the ball, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn this. Tough to, yeah, I think the ground may have pushed it back up, Ron. I think that might be an incomplete pass.
Jack Childress with the headsets on, waiting to get the verdict from the gentleman up above.
This is the exact area of the field earlier in the game that Tom O'Brien went for it on 4th down. It was 4th and 10, because you're in a situation where it's a little too far for your new kicker, and if you punt it and it goes in the end zone after you on 4th down, you don't gain really much field position. So regardless of whether it's overturned or not, I think they're in 4-down territory here.
We'll get the call, but they're about to overturn this.
Yeah. Well, it was the front side you couldn't tell. That one you'd say it was not indisputable, but from the backside it sure did look like that ball got down onto the turf.
And this is the reason for replay, because when you have something that is so very close, then you go to it, you see that, and you help the gentleman out down on the field.
Well, and what a big difference it makes being 3rd and short or 3rd and long if you're Wake Forest. So get the call right.
That's right, because this would bring the ball back to a line of scrimmage of just outside the 38, which would be 3rd down at about 8.5 yards to go.
But I still think this is the exact same area that Tom O'Brien, if they do overturn it, Tom O'Brien would go for it on 4th regardless of what happens on 3rd.
After further review, there is indisputable evidence that the ball hit the ground before there was no catch. It was 3rd down.
Boy, the roar from the crowd here, from the Demon Deacon fans.
Well, and you've got to be careful if you're Wake Forest defensively. It's not over yet. It's 3rd down. Don't get so excited thinking, oh, great. Well, hey, we still have 3rd down. And if I'm Boston College, I'd run some type of screen here, Ron. Maybe a wide receiver screen to Gonzalez, or even to Whitworth, a running back screen, because I think you're going to go for it on 4th down.
Here's the situation. Deacons 21, the Eagles 7. It's 3rd down. Let's call it 8.5 yards to get the 1st down. retreating to throw, now stepping up into the pocket, and got a man wide open at the 10-yard line, and the catch is made. Challenger got free behind the secondary. It is first and goal, Boston College. That's good for 30 yards.
Well, and Challenger was pushed out of bounds. That's why the referee's hat, the official's hat, is over there. Watch as he works to the outside. He's going to get pushed out of bounds. But in college football, if you are forced out of bounds, you can come back in, and as long as you establish yourself in the field of play, you're able to make the catch.
First and goal. Back to the line of scrimmage from a shotgun. Ryan running for his life. Now just going to throw this one out of the back of the end zone. John Russell, a redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, is the man who was creating a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's a guy that played with Riley in high school.
Ryan gets a little knocked down at the end of the play by Brian Andrews, but Russell, a young man that's how they found Riley Skinner, from recruiting Russell.
Ninth play of the drive. It started at the 26-yard line. BC trying to get back in this one. They're down by 14. From the shotgun, they'll go with the running play. Cutting back into the middle is Whitworth, and Whitworth will go inside the 5 to around the 4. It'll be third down. John Abadi, who is in double figures on tackles, and I want to think that is his 11th stop of the night.
Well, and now you're in that distance on third and goal, where it either has to be a draw or a throw, Ron. I don't think you want to risk another throw and get yourself the another run and get yourself the fourth down. This is Matt Ryan territory.
So here comes third down from the shotgun. 4.5 yards away. Sets, looking, now going to try to run it at the 5, at the 3, and he will not get in. The ball came loose at the 2-yard line.
He never locked it away, Ron.
Curry is the man who caused him to fumble the football. The officials are holding up a fist, meaning fourth down, so the ball is retained by the Eagles.
Watch when he takes off. Matt Ryan never tucks this ball away. He's got to lock it away right now. Oh, he got it away okay. I take that back. That was just good defense. And now Boston College going for it, down 21-7. And I think this has a lot to do with the new clock rule, Ron. I think if it was a slower clock, I think Tom O'Brien would kick it, but he knows the fourth quarter is going to melt away very quickly.
So Ryan again from the shotgun. 2 yards away, fourth down. He's going to keep it. Fake the run, took it into the end zone himself, and touchdown Boston College.
Good strategy by Tom O'Brien to go for it there on fourth. I think you kick the field goal, and as fast as these games are going now with the new clock rules, you may not be able to catch up. You may not get enough possessions to catch up down 2 scores. Now you're down 1 score. Great play fake. Backside in bit all the way. And Ryan, bad wheel and all, slides in.
And the head coach says, I can signal touchdown as well as anybody else. Trying to make it a 7-point ball game. And Steve knocks it home.
Well, it's something that John Abadi and his family started doing. He looked up to his mom and dad and his sister and brother who come to all the games, and they started doing it number 5. And then sure enough, his teammates started seeing it. The coaches started seeing it. It's a lot of colleges do that. They raise the 4 like it's the fourth quarter. Let's finish out. And it's now become a thing across the entire stadium where everyone starts to hold up the number 5 for John Abadi and his family.
John has 12 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 forced fumble. And we still have got a quarter to go. As you look at his family on the sideline, and in 13 seconds, he'll be holding up those 5 fingers for the fourth quarter. That's all we have left in this third stanza. Oliver prepares to kick this ball off. Marion and Kenny Moore back deep.
I think that Boston College has seen enough of number 14. I wouldn't be surprised if they squib this.
Yeah, that's the way they've got the formation right now. No, they're going to really kick it short right down the middle. So this is Marion from the 10-yard line. And a return's going to come to the 24. That'll be the final play as the clock will start. We're at 4 seconds right now.
Well, the Abadis are going to hold up number 5, Ron, but remember at the beginning of the game, they have fought all year to say we have to play 4 quarters. One more to go for Wake Forest.
And there it is, the whistle. We head to the final quarter, and number 5 about to stand up, and there go up the 5 fingers, and he's looking at his family from right there on the bench, and you can see their response. We'll be right back. So we are back for the final quarter of play. Wake Forest 7 in each quarter, and Boston College 7 in the second, 7 in the third. That's how we stand. 21-14. And it's first down for Wake at their own 24-yard line. Short drop, quarterback draw. Has 5, and that'll be the end of the road. Smart to go down. Let's go to the sideline and Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Guys, I am with Marion and Stephen Abadi up here, and folks, I just can't imagine. What does it make you feel like when you hold up the 5 fingers at the beginning of the 4th quarter to honor Luke?
It's just a great way to honor Luke by our family, for John to identify that the 4th quarter is Luke's quarter. Change his number in honor of his brother, and it's just a great way to pay tribute to Luke.
Mom, when John said he wanted to wear that number 5 to honor his little brother, what were your thoughts?
Well, at first I wasn't sure if I wanted him to do it because 40 was his number. But then I knew that Luke was they were so close, and I knew he was going to do it. So, yes, I'm proud of him. It's a great way to honor Luke. So.
And he says you guys have not missed a single game. You've been to every single football game to see him raise those 5 fingers at the beginning of the 4th quarter.
Absolutely. It's just been an honor to have the whole Wake Forest fans do the same thing now. It used to be a family tribute. Now it's a Wake Forest tribute.
Thank you so much for your time.
We are going to the championship.
The Abadi family, guys.
Okay, Jerry, thanks so much. Great hustle there. Second down and 1. Down to play with, but they're going to make sure they take it forward, move the chains, and pick up the first down. Rich Belton on the carry. And here's where we will see what Ed was talking about, because in tracking games from time to time, all of a sudden you're amazed with the new clock of how few plays a team gets off, which also conversely how long that defense winds up having to stay out there if you pick up 3 or 4 first downs.
Right, and Wake Forest cannot get conservative here. This, although it felt like the score was getting out of hand, it never did. And here's Boston College with plenty of firepower on offense, only down 7. You've got to think score if you're Wake Forest, not just eat the clock.
This is Moore, tries to turn the corner. Nice job defensively, and that was Kevin Akins.
And one of the things you can do with Riley Skinner, a lot of their throws are going to be short. They're going to be underneath stuff, screens, over towards a wide receiver staying stationary. He has thrown the ball down the middle of the field twice. We saw the interception on the post that he threw late, but then the blown coverage to Morton for the touchdown. So let him stretch it a couple of times, but you can still stay safe. So you're not really risking interceptions on those underneath throws and the ones to the outside on wide receiver screens.
Riley Skinner with an audible here. Second down at about 14 for the first down. Blitz, they pick it up. Gets his pass away and too tall. Third down, line to make the 45. Pass back over the middle, caught, and the ball is loose at the 30-yard line and is picked up by Boston College. At the 20 and down to the 15 is a Noam. And all of a sudden, a mistake by Wake Forest. Here early on in the 4th quarter, they put it on the ground, and the Eagles are on the doorstep.
Well, it was Ryan Glasper. And he's going to be working one-on-one with Tarashinsky. Well, Ron, I think they should review that. And I think Boston College is going to try. Let's see if Tarashinsky has that ball locked away. Oh, he did. No, that was a clean call. And Ryan Glasper finishing the play. Remember, Glasper was the young man who blew the coverage.
Here comes
on the touchdown.
Timeout, though.
Yeah, I think they should look at it, but it looked like a catch.
Under review.
Looked like to me like he controlled it. It was close enough, though, that I think this is the right idea to review it.
Tarashinsky, if you're saying, well, boy, that name is familiar, yes. He is part of the Tarasensky family from the University of Georgia, but one of the sons that decided he wanted to go somewhere else to play college football.
Well, Glasper and Tribble, who had a miscommunication.
He doesn't have control of the ball right there. Never did. See, that ball is up.
Let's see.
Watch right here.
Usually you look to see if he tucks it away.
No possession, no possession. He's bringing it down, and there it comes loose.
Well, Ron, I think it could go either way. He never tucks the ball away, but it looks like he may have control in it.
Boy,
yeah, it's close. Woo. Yeah, I think that the play may stand as called on the field because it's not indisputable either way. And that's the difficult part. You know, Ron, you'd think in replays it's just black and white. Just there's the answer. And we saw today Maryland Clemson. It didn't look like it looked like it should have been a safety as the ball was recovered right on top of the goal line by C.J. Spiller, but they overturned it. And this one, I think, is the same thing. You can't really tell, so it should stand as called on the field.
Okay, so we're going to look at it one more time. All right. The reason I don't think that he has possession, the nose of the ball, which is an unnatural position to carry the ball in, stayed up until it's knocked out of his hand right there. See, he's trying to tuck it, and I don't think he's got possession of the football.
Well, I think that's the whole reason he didn't go to tuck it, is because he had it strangely in his hand. So he never went to tuck because he didn't feel like, he maybe felt like it was going to come off. But I think it can go either way. And so I think that what they'll do is just say there isn't enough evidence to overturn it and let it stand as called. Typically that's what you look for, though, is did he try to tuck it away? And Tarasensky never made the move to put it into the tuck position. But you can't have control of it. You're right. It did look odd as it was sticking straight up and down.
Point of the ball stayed up, and the only time you see that is normally when a wide receiver catches it and they're about to strut to the end zone. So our score 21-14 and a stoppage in play at the 12:36 mark. And they're going to go over this one for a bit,
right,
I think.
Right. And usually when it takes this long, it means they can't tell for sure. So I would think that they're going to let this one stand on the field. And it took about this long today in that Maryland Clemson game. They looked at that play over and over again. And if it's a safety, the game's over. Instead, Clemson gets the ball, throws a great tight end pass down the middle of the field, gets in, kicks a field goal to go ahead, and then Maryland goes down and kicks it to win.
Okay, the verdict is in.
After further review, video replay has determined that the pass was not caught. It was an incomplete pass. It is 4th down.
Well, you were right, Ron.
I respect them for making a really difficult call, but I have to agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm not 100% sold on it. I just think it's right in between, and
I just don't think you play games with the football in this kind of situation. He's still trying to put the ball away, which means no possession.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably what they judged.
Yeah, my sense was it looked like he did have it, but again, it can go either way.
So talk about a huge break. We will see if it's a huge break for Wake Forest. The point is they get 4th down and an opportunity to punt the football.
Well, now with Sam Swank, instead of horrible field position down in nearly the red zone for Boston College, if he gets off a boomer like he is apt to do, this could totally flip the field instead of what looked like a tragic situation up 21-14.
And you see Wake Forest, the up blocking backs, everybody coming up and double checking, making sure that their assignment, that they know exactly what it is.
Because it looks like Boston College, with all those bodies, may try to run into that swinging gate and try to block it.
Good pass. They've got the return on. Kick is not going to turn over. And it is going to hit and take a gigantic Wake Forest bounce. It'll go dead at the 18-yard line. So as we go to break, take a look at the reaction of the head coach for Boston College when the play was overturned. 21-14, Deacons on top. 12:37, that's what we have left in the ball game. The ball would have been, without changing the play, at the 14-yard line. But with the punt, it flips the field, if you will, with the expression, 68 yards. Pressure coming from the backside, doesn't feel it. Now throws the ball complete at the 30-yard line, and that's Robinson, who finally is forced out of bounds at around the 36. That's good for 18 yards and a first down.
Well, I give a lot of credit to Dana Bible and Tom O'Brien for allowing Dana Bible. They've thrown out the run completely. It just was not working, Ron, and you've got, by a lot of people's argument, the best quarterback in the ACC, regardless of the ankle injury, and let him operate.
Well, you know, a little play like that where you flip short yardage and get a man in space as he is sacked back at the 30. That's as good as a run, as we've discussed so many times. But those are the kind of things right there that hurt you. All of a sudden you play well behind the chains.
Well, Giles Tucker with his second sack tonight. He's going to work to the inside. And Beekman, who was the center, was working one-on-one on somebody and couldn't come back off. They couldn't make the switch back to the inside. That's just a good athletic play. That didn't look like a called stunt to me.
Third time that they have sacked the BC quarterback. There again, chipping away. Robinson breaks a tackle, goes out across the 40, and they're going to give him forward progress to the 42. So it will be third down, but now all of a sudden they only need about 4.5, 5 yards.
Well, and you're starting to see some missed tackles by Wake Forest. Mike Simmons that time has that ball with only about a 2-yard gain. And these guys from Wake Forest, they talk about playing 4 quarters. Well, you have to tackle for 4 quarters as well.
Third down, they got to take this ball to the 46.5-yard line. Bryant steps up, he's going to run it. Got an open area, first down and more. Slides down at the 45-yard line. That's good for 12 more yards.
John Abadi a little slow getting up. A little gimpy on his right ankle. And boy, talk about a tough competitor in Ryan. He's not afraid to tuck it and go. And Dean Hood, the defensive coordinator, I think, Ron, I think he's got to take some chances. Right now, they're only rushing for.
Excuse me, Abadi just went down. They're going to have to call a timeout here with the official, with the trainers going on. I'm sorry, Ed, go ahead.
Well, you don't want to lose that guy. Even if in passing situations he does not come off the field.
We mentioned as we came into the fourth quarter, 12 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and a caused fumble. And in fact, they're now saying 13 tackles for him.
He got hit by a chasing defensive lineman. Zach Stukes was chasing. You see that so often, Ron. It's a lot of times you get hit by your own men because everyone's hustling trying to get to the ball. I have a feeling that Abadi, unless it's something serious, is going to shake it off and be right back on the field. You can't keep this guy off. But what I was going to say is Dean Hood has gotten away from blitzing Ryan. They've gone to the 4-man rush. I think they may want to get a little more aggressive here now. Play a little more man-to-man and take a chance.
Berry comes in replacing Abadi. Stepping up, drills the ball. Whoa, what a hit on the far sideline by Swanson. Riley Swanson came up, and that was a very nice job of a one-on-one tackle. Swinging the pass out to Callender inside the 25, and now he's inside the 20-yard line. That's good for 24. Kevin Patterson finally ran him out of bounds.
Well, this is a masterful job by Boston College offensively. Not only have they gone exclusively to the pass because the run just was not working, they've started going to a no huddle. And Abadi trying to get back in the game, but right now they have Wake Forest completely on their heels.
First down from the 19. Sets in the pocket. Here comes pressure, and he threw that one right over the middle. I'm not sure it was Tucker coming with the pressure, but I saw a lot of black jerseys. I didn't see any white ones.
Purvis was close. He was in the neighborhood. And the way Abadi's favoring that knee, I can't tell if he's trying to shake it off or if he's limping. He may just be trying to shake off whatever happened. But boy, I really like this Ron, going to the no huddle for Boston College. Total change of tempo, and the momentum is now squarely in the guys in white jerseys.
10 minutes left in the ball game. Right over the middle, drops it off, and that's Callender. Callender breaks the first tackle, and he'll pick up 3 more yards after the broken first tackle. He's down to the 12-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down. Boston College. Line to make is around the 9-yard line. Alfonso Smith on the stop.
And this speaks volumes about what they think they have in Matt Ryan. Dean Hood madly trying to get calls in. They have not run a blitz this entire series. I think they've got to start thinking about it.
9.5 minutes left in the ball game. Clock really moving along quickly. Ryan steps up and throws the ball and almost gets it complete at the 15. There are flags. Somebody just said in my ear, flags. No kidding. You think? I mean, there's one at every corner. I thought it was flag night. Thompson is the man who was coming with the pressure initially. Now the discussion. It is 3rd down.
Where they were thrown seems logical, and they're asking Wake Forest what they'd like to do. I think you take the penalty, Ron, because I think Boston College on 4th down goes for it. Why make it short for them?
Holding 7 of the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
It's a spot foul. And to explain for people, it means it occurred behind the line of scrimmage. So it's going to wind up being more than 10 yards lost or close to it.
And that was the right decision by Wake Forest. Go ahead and back them up, because it would have been 4th and what, 2?
Yeah.
2.5. And I think Boston College would have gone for it. So now make it a little more difficult for them.
This whole thing started back at the 18. Their own 18. 9th play of the drive. Steps up, goes for the end zone. Got a man down there, and it's just a little too far for Brandon Robinson. Boy.
And I think it was the pressure that caused the bad throw by Ryan, because they had Robinson wide open. And so now, because you take the penalty, Apanavicius has to come on and try his first field goal of the night. He's perfect on the year so far, 5 for 5. But I think this may be the biggest pressure kick this young man's ever tried.
It's going to be a 40-yard attempt from the far hash mark. Good pass. Kick is on the way. He's got enough strength. Yes, and it's no good.
Well, the walk-on who didn't play high school football at Easton High School in Easton, Pennsylvania, I think that's the most pressure he's been under. The Virginia Tech game was a big game, but they kind of ran away with that one. So a game tight, he didn't make it.
We take one more look at the attempt, and you see he's going to be wide left. He had enough distance. 21-14, Deacons on top. Let's take a break. Complete. Tackle broken. 20-25. Willie Idolette, I believe, no, just short of the first down as he's out of bounds at the 30. But that is everything that play is predicated on. To get out, single coverage, breaking the first tackle.
And Idolette's, Dr. Punch reported earlier, had a knee and an ankle this week. He's run really hard for a guy on a gimpy leg.
Big play right there to play so far in front of the chains. Here's Moore, reverses his field, spin move, and because of that, I think he just picked up the first down. In fact, he did at the 33. Joan Dunbar was there to put the stop on him.
You always, when you watch games, it seems like the defense starts to run a little slower in the 4th quarter. They have a little harder time making tackles. Remember that the offense doesn't have to chase the ball on every play. The defense has to pursue every single play of the game, and so they start to get a little worn out.
Total yardage only 14 in the 4th quarter for Wake Forest. Moore straight ahead. Could not break that tackle. And it's going to be back to the line of scrimmage, so a 2nd down and 10 as Nick Larkin was there to make the tackle.
And I'll go back to what I said last time Wake Forest had the ball. I mean, they dodged one with the holding call against Boston College on that last drive, but I know they want to milk some clock. but I think they need to think score here, even if it's just a field goal from Swank, because Boston College is too good on offense so far.
Looking to throw, going long, and that one is intercepted by Jamie Silva. Jamie Silva with the pickoff and a ball that was just well overthrown.
Riley Skinner coming into the game only had 1 interception on 117 attempts. He now has 2. And both of them were on poorly thrown deep balls. Silva dropping in the middle of the screen, just reading the eyes of Skinner the whole time, and he falls away and lets this thing fly for Idolette. And Silva did an excellent job.
So Boston College quickly back to the line of scrimmage. They have it at the 25-yard line. Clock running at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Here comes pressure. Throws it out on the flat. Complete, and the tackle made. Purvis is hit, and it maybe is a gain of a yard on the play, and that's about it. As Josh Gaddis was out there to make the stop. John Abadi was the man applying the pressure on the quarterback, Matt Ryan.
And here is Boston College once again going hurry up. I think they realize Wake Forest is tired, and with the interception so quick by Skinner, the defense didn't get a chance to rest. These guys are worn out in black and gold.
Here comes a blitz off the top of your screen. They throw back the other way. Robinson with the catch, and he'll be pushed out of bounds shy of the 35. Boy, that is still very close to a first down.
And I think that the interception by Skinner has a twofold effect, Ron. Obviously, you don't want to throw an interception at this point in the game, but his defense needed a rest. They were dragged down the field on the last drive by Boston College.
Well, here's a break right here with the chain having to come all the way across the field.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to get a breather.
A little bit of a play fake, but with no running game. Just probably in there. That's a pretty good spot.
That's a first down. They bring the chains in. So 7:01 showing on the clock. I guess the biggest point that Jim Grobe would like to make to his young quarterback is 1 and 2 first downs, particularly, and all of a sudden you got a situation where Boston College does have all 3 timeouts left, but you have really whittled a lot of time off the clock. BC in good situation here as far as the time left on the clock and 3 timeouts. Pass right over the middle. Got it complete. This time it is Tony Gonzalez, and he's going to be stopped at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 5. Ryan sets to throw, going to run up into the pocket. Here comes pressure, and he wisely goes down at the 40. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 as Zach Stukes is there to make the tackle.
And now again, I know I sound like a broken record, but we have not seen a blitz. A 3-man line right now, excuse me, a 4-man line from Wake Forest. And I think this is a situation for Dean Hood to bring a little bit of pressure. You don't want Ryan sitting in the pocket on 3rd and 5.
Got to take it to the 45-yard line. Ryan steps up, throws it to his running back Whitworth, and he will have the first down. LV will go out across the 45 to the 47. Aaron Curry makes the stop. But the clock already is under 6 minutes left.
And for Ryan, the 2 guys in the middle are going to back out. And so he sees a 9-man zone coverage. With the receivers downfield, he's able to get it underneath. There was nobody open downfield. You say, why would he throw it before the sticks? But Whitworth was his only option.
Pressure coming from the top of your screen. The right, that pass thrown complete, and the hit immediately. Taken down was Megwa, Clarence Megwa, a young fella that they told us we were going to see in this ball game tonight. Swanson was there on the tackle.
We shouldn't be shocked by this, Ron. In 2003, Wake Forest scores with 1:47 left to win. A touchdown in 04, 1:09 to win. Last year, Boston College, 1:18 to win. So you just figure these are always going to come down to the end.
About to go under 5 minutes to play. They go with the running play. Whitworth turns it upfield, has 5, has 10, fumbles the football, and the scramble for it. Wake says they have it, and they do. At the 5-minute mark left in the ball game. And coaches on the far sideline of Boston College look skyward thinking how and why right now. Tucker makes the recovery.
First running play in quite a long time. And it came from the backside. I believe it was Eric Berry who did an excellent job right there reaching in on the ball, but that should not be enough to knock that ball away, Ron. I mean, give Berry credit for reaching in there, but there's no way that ball should have come out of Whitworth's hands. It wasn't, you see a helmet maybe off, but that was just a rake of the arm.
2 turnovers apiece. Boston College, I would remind you, has 3 timeouts left. And for Wake Forest, they give it to Moore. They stretch it out with the play toward the sideline, and Larkin makes the tackle, trying to burn as much clock as they can. It's going to be a 2nd down and long. He only picked up 1.
Well, with 3 timeouts, Boston College is going to wait to see what happens on this drive, because if Wake Forest doesn't pick up the first, they don't need to waste it. They can save it for offense. If they do pick up the first down, then Boston College will have to start using those 3 timeouts.
Riley Skinner in a shotgun formation. Demon Deacons lead it 21-14. Pass deep over the middle, and the receiver fell down. Morton lost his footing as he made his cut, and the pass was perfect.
Well, and of course, Boston College, we're talking about those timeouts. Yep, right when he went to gather. And a lot of players will tell you, this is the field turf, Ron, that some hard cuts are not as good as it would be on grass with long cleats. You have to wear kind of the rubber cleats, and Morton went to plant on that inside foot and slipped right out from underneath of him.
3 of 8 on 3rd down situations for Wake Forest. They need to take this to the 47-yard line. Otherwise, they got to punt it back to Boston College. Under 4 minutes to play. Blitz coming from deep down the middle. They throw it. The ball incomplete. And I'll tell you, Idolette couldn't hold on, and I really think that if the defender had kept his head up, he might have caught it and gone for a touchdown. That's Dunbar.
Yeah, but this is Frank Spaziani saying, I'm not going to sit around and watch you pick me apart. 2 guys coming, and this is what makes Riley Skinner have to throw to the underneath receiver. He throws off his back foot a little behind, but a great call by Frank Spaziani to force the young quarterback to come underneath on a 3rd and long situation.
Swank with his 5th punt of the night. 3:52 showing on the clock. 7-point lead, Wake Forest, and here's the boot. This is his best kick of the night. Wobbly spiral, but all the way back to the 18-yard line and slides down at the 25. That was Tribble. So let's take a timeout. 45 on the kick and 7 on the return.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 26-yard.
So Boston College back out on the field, and the clock shows 3:42 left. They're down by 7 points, and they scrimmage from their own 27-yard line. Callender in the ball game at tailback. Pressure going to be hit from behind and is sacked at the 20-yard line, and that is Smith. The 4th time that they have sacked Ryan tonight. Alfonso Smith coming from behind, missed him the first time by.
And that is the very first blitz in the last 4 series that we have seen. Alfonso Smith comes completely unblocked. He was missed by Callender, and then the very quick cornerback recovers to make the
blitz again, this time off the top, and flags are down.
And Wake Forest had gotten away from that, Ron. Remember in the first quarter, it was blitz happy Dean Hood, and he'd completely gotten away from that. And I was wondering why, and then he brought it back just in time.
False start. Wow. Number 70 offense.
They had already lost 7 yards on that last play. This is going to make it a 2nd down and what, 22? Boy.
Well, now you think of what is it going to take in 3 plays to go 22 yards. So I would think some type of screen here and try to get, half of it back to put yourself in a manageable 3rd down. And of course, Wake Forest is going to play coverage here.
Callender in a tailback again. They fake it to him. Here comes pressure. Ball over the middle, and it is caught at the 34-yard line. And again, it's Megwa. Clarence Megwa is good for 19 yards.
And Boston College is doing an excellent job of hustling. They're in that place now with 3 timeouts. They've got all the time in the world, Ron, but they don't want to waste any. They don't need to huddle. Ryan has complete control.
2:24, 2:23, and counting. Wake stays at home. Pass right over the middle, and again they go to the tight end. Actually, it was Gonzalez, number 26.
Yeah, they just a really simple ran 2 slants over to the left. And you can run your entire offense. When you have a quarterback like Matt Ryan, you can run your entire offense from never having to huddle.
That's good for 10 yards. Now they're at the 45 with the first down. Ryan sets in the pocket, going to go long. Near sideline, a lot of pushing and shoving, and no flag. That was Patterson who had the cover on Brandon Robinson.
And Robinson, a guy who had a breakout game against BYU. And Ryan should have seen that Patterson never overran. They should have underthrown that ball, Ron. How many times have we seen that this year when the cornerback takes off running, you dump it underneath, and Robinson can make the play.
So that stops the clock. 2:05 left. Second down and 10. Pumped once, pumps again, and throws this one away.
Well, same as a sack. They'll get the intentional grounding, but same result. It's still third down.
Did they throw a yeah. Jack did throw a flag.
So you get the loss of down, which with a sack it would have been third and 17, 16, I guess. Can't fault Ryan for trying.
I think he's going to pick it up.
The quarterback was outside the tackle box. The ball crossed the neutral zone in flight. There is no foul.
Let's take a look at about the hash was where the left tackle was. Now he's in the pocket. Jack Childress should not have waved that off.
But he threw it beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but you got to be outside the tackle box. He never left the tackle box.
Third down. Needs to take it to the 45-yard line. Steps up, puts some mustard on that one, and that's the reason Patterson didn't make the interception.
Boy, Patterson has played well on this. He just the whole way he read the route, did a good job, and that is not pass interference because Patterson is trying to make a play on the ball. The play before with Robinson, he took off and ran the route. Nice job by Patterson, just a sophomore. Good job reading the quarterback and the route at the same time.
So it comes down to this. Fourth down. They still need to take it to the 45-yard line. 1 of 2 on fourth down conversions tonight. 2 wide receivers to the top of your screen. That's the left. Here comes pressure. Zings the pass. He's got it. And first down to Kevin Challenger. Swanson on the cover, but it's good for 13 yards.
One-on-one, Swanson never squats. He's got to know where the down marker is. He just keeps backing out, and Challenger with good speed kept pressing him and cut out right at the right moment to pick up the first down. Great route.
1:47 left in our ball game. First down, Boston College. Steps up over the middle. That one should have been intercepted by Ghee for Wake Forest. Patrick Ghee was right in front of the football.
And once again, it's Smith. Boy, that was a bad read by Ryan. He did not see Ghee sitting there. He saw Smith, the cornerback, and there was a flag in the backfield. I think they're going to get the left tackle Martin for holding on Smith.
Holding number 70 offense.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, you know, Dean Hood once again brings Smith, the cornerback, and it's the speed on the outside.
Get on your feet.
Left tackle. Yeah, he definitely he had his hand, and if the guy goes by and they see it, they're going to call it. That's a good call by Jack Childress.
So it's first down and 20. Little play action. They pull the guard out to pick up that blitz over to the tight end, and that's Thompson, and Thompson flipped Lloyd, I beg your pardon, 89. And Lloyd is going to be to the 47.5-yard line. BC quickly back to the ball, back to the line of scrimmage. 1:20 and counting.
But boy, are they doing a nice job saving those timeouts, Ron.
Matt Ryan steps up. Drills it over the middle, has it complete, and he held on at the 26-yard line. And that is Gunnell with 23 yards in the pass play, and Gaddis is the man who made the hit.
And Gaddis comes up limping. You don't want to lose your senior safety in a drive like this, but excellent job by Gunnell because Gaddis got there right when the ball did.
BC takes the snap from the 25, pumped it once, goes for the end zone, got a guy there, and it is intercepted by Wake Forest, and that's Patrick Ghee.
Second time in a row that they've tried to throw this route. Second time in a row that Matt Ryan has thrown an interception. He's going to run the out and up. And Ghee never comes off of the ball, and the ball hangs in the air for Ryan. Remember earlier, it was Gaddis who made the interception. This time, Ghee does not bite on it. Remember what Dean Hood told us about his senior safeties. He said, those are the guys, the reason that I get sleep at night. That was a great read by Ghee, and the second time that Matt Ryan has made a mistake on the same play tonight. And it's going to be close, Ron, with 57 seconds left and 3 timeouts for Boston College. It'll be very close to see if Wake Forest can run out the clock without picking up a first down.
So BC used one of their timeouts. And Dr. Jerry Punch, let's go down to the sideline to check in with you.
Well, Ron, Halloween may be over, but it's a nightmarish schedule staring the Demon Deacons here in the month of November. Now, next week they travel to Florida State, where they have not won since 1959. Then they go, Virginia Tech comes calling, a resurging Hokie team who they haven't beaten since 1983. Then they finish out the year at Maryland up in College Park, a team they last beat in 1998. And by the way, Wake had an 8-game losing streak in November. They had not won in the month of November since November 1st of 2003 against Clemson. That could all change here tonight.
That's all recent history, Doc. 1944. Go back for an 8-1 start. So those seem easy to these guys. But you're right on the number, Ron, depending on how many seconds you can run off on these plays on whether you have to pick up a first down. It's right in that minute range with 2 timeouts that you can get out of here without having to pick up a first down. So we'll see how much time they can take off the clock in between plays.
Toll coming with pressure from the backside, tries to run the play down, and they move by him. Now the tough thing right here, you got to wait. The whistle just now sounded, and the clock is at 49 seconds.
And that was a favorable play for them. 8 seconds ran off the clock, and if you can get between 8 and 10 seconds between plays, even with the timeouts, you may be able to get out of here if you're Wake Forest without a first down.
Second timeout called by Boston College. That leaves them with 1. And as we mentioned, it stops it at 49 seconds.
Well, Boston College just continued to have mistake after mistake. They move the ball at will. Of course, Apanavicius misses the field goal. But as they continued to go up and down the field, there was the fumble by Whitworth, and then Ryan lets the ball hang up, and Ghee makes a great interception.
So second down. Wake Forest going from under center. And the Wake Forest players are pointing that did somebody make contact?
Well, Wake Forest jumped up and pointed at Boston College for being in the neutral zone.
Snap, false start, right guard and tackle offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still setting.
Boy, that's a mental error by that right side, because the defense can go in the neutral zone as long as they back out and don't make contact. And now you're behind the sticks, Ron, where you had a pretty decent little pickup on second down, because a first down ends the game.
Second down and 12. 49 seconds showing on the clock. Wake Forest 21-14. And they hand it to the fullback. The first man through, and that's Belton. He's being pushed back. And now the timeout being called.
Brought down by number 7, Kevin Aiken, and number 60, Ron Gray.
Last timeout for Boston College.
So third and final timeout. 42 ticks showing on the clock. And Doc, you're down there on the sideline. Tell us what you're seeing.
Well, Ron, there's some long faces here as you take a look at Matt Ryan over on the BC sideline, and some pensive thoughts happening here with Jim Grobe on the Demon Deacons sideline. Now, both these teams are bowl eligible, irrespective of what happens here tonight. So, and the ACC has 8 bowl contracts. The FedEx Orange Bowl would take the BCS possible candidate out of here. The Chick-fil-A Bowl, by the way, moves to number 2 on the pick because they are going to pay $3.2 million for an ACC team to come play in Atlanta. Toyota Gator Bowl, Champ Sports Bowl, and down the line 8 contracted bowls. And of course, a moment ago, behind the Demon Deacon bench, they were chanting Jacksonville, indicating that they want this team to be able to have a shot to go play in that Dr. Pepper ACC title game early in December.
Well, they're not out of the woods on this one. It looks like if they don't pick up the first, which they're not going to throw it. I mean, there's just no way that they may have to punt the ball away. Of course, they take the penalty on 4th down to use every second, but Boston College still may have a chance in this one.
Well, of course, it depends on how many chances you want to take. They also could take the snap and run all the way back to the end zone and run as much time down that way as they can, take the safety, and then come up and punt it away.
The fear would be, Ron, if you're a little closer, fear would be if you got caught before it.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. 3rd down. And if they go out to the 30-yard line, it's all a moot point because that would be a 1st down. You see how tightly BC is drawn to the line, straight ahead with the handoff, and again, Belton, the ball carrier, and he will be back to the original line of scrimmage. Clock is running, 32, 31, and let's see when they whistle in the 25-second clock. Still not whistled in, 26, 25. They don't have to run another play. They do not have to run another play.
And if I were Tom O'Brien, I'd be pretty upset because it seemed like they could have gotten that ball spotted and made them run a 4th down play. But with only a second, Wake Forest would have just done a running play and the game would have been over anyway.
7 seconds down to 6, and the Wake Forest fans are running across the field toward their student section, and the clock shows zeros. For the first time since 1944, Wake Forest is 8-1, as now the kids are jumping over the wall and storming the field here at Winston-Salem.